My name is Howard Berry. I'm the father of the late Staff Sergeant Joshua Berry. My son died of wounds that were sustained during the first Fort Hood shooting. For those of you that don't remember, that shooting took place on November the 5th of 2009. Nidal Hassan murdered 13 and he wounded 32. As 2016 approaches and we prepare to elect our next commander-in-chief, I've got a lot of questions. And there's an awful lot of people that feel that they have what it takes to sit in the White House. So I decided to reach out to each and every one of them with my questions and see what their thoughts are. These questions are for Donald Trump. Mr. Trump, do you feel that the first Fort Hood shooting was handled correctly? The fact that they initially classified it a random act of violence in the workplace and later amended it to a case of violent homegrown extremism? Do you think that that was the right thing to do, sir? It seemed to me that they just kept playing Scrabble with the truth and they never have gotten it right. I do know, I do know that my son died waiting for help that never came. I'd like to know what your thoughts are on that, Mr. Trump. I'd also like to know what you think about the current veteran suicide rate. There are 23 men and women every single day that are completing suicide. And I'd like to know what you think, sir. Do you think at number 23, do you think that's too high? Do you think at 23 will keep you up at night, or I know it does me. Or do you think at one's too many? I'd like to know what you think about this because I think it's very important. I'd also like to know what you think about the VA. Is this agency so totally broken that it needs to be scrapped? Or do you think that at some point they can turn the corner and start doing what they're supposed to do and care for the veterans, the men and women that volunteer to defend our freedoms? I'd like to know what your thoughts are, Mr. Trump. I really would. I see a lot of these soldiers that are falling through the cracks, uh, lost paperwork and appointments they can't get, and the horror stories are out there. I sent your folks some of the ones that are the experiences that I've had, and I'd like to know what your thoughts are. I'd also like to know what you think about the veterans. Where they should be in the pecking order. When it comes to helping folks out. There's a lot of people right now that are suffering in this country that are really hurting, and some of them are vets. And I'd like to know, sir, where you think they ought to be in the pecking order. Do you think they ought to be up front, as I do, or do you think that they need to be, well, wherever they happen to fall? Um, you know, I, I, I would love to see, I would love to see each and every vet get what they need. I believe that they should be put before all others. And Mr. Trump, I think that these issues, these issues, as simple as they are, they're very debatable. They need to be discussed. I'd rather hear you talk about something like this that really matters than talk about whatever's coming out of who. And I know we all say the wrong thing at the wrong time. I appreciate the fact that you're standing up and speaking out. I hope that you address this. I hope that this comes up in a debate to where it can be brought up. I'm reaching out to each and every candidate, and irrespective of party. So everybody's going to get a fair shot at addressing some of this stuff. There's an awful lot of empty chairs at a lot of tables in this country. Combat losses, training accidents, suicide. Uh, uh, these families would probably like to know what your thoughts are on this. I believe that the next election is going to swing on the veteran vote. I know that dead vets don't vote, but their families do, their friends do, and I hope that the battle buddies that serve with those that are no longer with us, that they do. And we need to know what your thoughts are. Uh, the, 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 I also like to see what you think about bringing back the draft. Give every single American family an opportunity to lose a loved one like I did. But let them have a dog in the fight when we have to go to war. Let them all have an equal opportunity. you know, to deal with it, with the tough stuff. My life will never be the same. I'd like to know what your thoughts are on this. I think it's only fair. It's only fair. You got 1% that are protecting the rest of us. We say things like support the troops, and we don't support the troops. We say things like no soldier left behind. My son was left behind, sir. I really would like to know what your thoughts are. This is very debatable. Please bring it up. In a public forum, I honestly believe that the American people do want to hear about this. The media is not going to cover it. I think you got the courage to do it. So I'm looking forward to hearing from you. God bless. I miss my son.